What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm going to be doing my top carries for the month from January 2022. So the very first top carries from the month. First up, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick little pocket check. Today I am carrying the Artisan Cutlery Series designed by Ray Laconico. This one here has a AR RPM 9 blade steel, G10 handles with a copper pivot collar, and it does have a very nicely done milled titanium pocket clip. This one is a liner lock with a front flipper and a thumb stud. If you are left-handed, you do get the option to reverse flick, but you're missing out on that for righties. The action's pretty good. Really a nice knife for the money. It cuts very well, has a nice thin blade, has the swedge to reduce the drag, and the action on the bearings is really good. The front flipper doesn't have the type of jimping that I like, but it does work. You just have to make sure that you get right in the middle. Don't come up here because you might slip a little bit on this one. So that's what's in my pockets today. Let's not delay. Let's go ahead and get into the top 10 knives that I carried in January 2022. And we're going to start out with number 10. The number 10 most carried knife is going to be my CIVIVI cogent. CIVIVI cogent has a 14C28N blade steel, but you can get it with the Damascus and the green micarta. I did pick up the purple G10 variant because I think it looks really good, and I'm trying to get just a little bit of pop of color in my rotation. I have a lot of black and monochrome, like titanium style pocket knives, so I like to have just a little bit of variety because I do like to mix up the colors, and it looks good on my Instagram post. This one here is a flipper button lock that works really well. I've had no issues with my CIVIVI cogent, no lock stick, no lock rock. The 14C28N that CIVIVI has been doing has performed really well. I'm just really kind of getting into the packages and envelopes. I did break down one cardboard box with this, and I was really impressed with how well the coating cleaned up. You can see just a little bit down here, I think a little bit of the mark where I did test that out, but I'm really liking the 14C28N as a whole, and CIVIVI does a fantastic job with this one. Sounds really good too. The other thing that I would like to note is I know some other channels I don't think have picked up on this, but they did actually change out the pocket clip. The design's a little bit different. I don't have any of the pocket clips, the older pocket clips. Actually, I think I do on the pintail. Let me grab that out of here really quick. All right, so this is the old pocket clip, and as you can see there, it actually points up more than the new one. You see how the new one comes down a little bit? Hopefully you're seeing that okay. So the newer one is a little bit different, and it is noticeable. Like, I do notice when I'm carrying it that, or when I'm holding it, that it's not really pushing into the hand. I really like the ergonomics on this one. I know some people have said they don't like the hammerhead shape at the tip. That really doesn't bother me, because while it's not probably as aesthetically pleasing as something with some cleaner lines, that finger guard really helps lock this in hand. So when you're using the knife, it feels very comfortable. That was number 10 for January's Top 10 2022. Coming in at number 9 is my Spyderco Shaman. The Shaman, I just recently upgraded to these carbonized dark matter scales. So this is probably going to end up seeing more pocket time because I just really like the way that it looks. But I did get the skinny scales and I had him remove the lanyard hole. So looks good, but feels so different. Like, this is so much more comfortable than it is with that little hump, because it does help when you want to choke up. You can spread your fingers out to do that detailed work. When you go to choke up, it actually feels more natural in hand. You don't have that lump like pushing out, you know, the ring finger area. So really nice. This one just has the coated S30V, but again, these are the carbonized dark matter scales and the MXG deep carry pocket clip. I really like the way that the scales came out. I've been looking at some of the other scales that he has, and I think I have a couple knives that I might be able to do a couple different colors on, but really like the way that that number 9 knife came out. So that was number 9 for January 2022. Coming in at number 8 is going to be a knife that I do carry a lot, and it is one of my workhorse knives, and it is one of my favorite EDCs, and that is the Spyderco YoJimbo 2. The YoJimbo 2 has a coated 20 CV blade, and it has the G10 scales. I did go ahead and get the MXG deep carry pocket clip again. I like his pocket clip, and I like Lynch Northwest pocket clip because it does have that duck bill, and it just slightly comes up, and you really don't feel it too much in hand. I mean, you can tell it's there, but it's not like it's hot or uncomfortable, which really makes it nice, and it pushes the pocket clip back far enough in the palm to where it's really comfortable. I really like this knife. Like, it really has surprised me how much the ergonomics, how much I enjoy them and like them. The hand position is really natural. A lot of the positions here that you hold this knife in are really quite comfortable. You can move around and find like a natural hand position in each spot on this knife. So it really has surprised me how much I like it, how light it is to carry. And it does have the Shaman and the YoJimbo 2 have a heavier detent. They feel like they're a little bit newer in the lineup compared to, say, like the paramilitary ones, but that heavy detent equates to a very satisfying thwack when you open, and it does give like enough resistance to where if you do want to middle flick it, it's nice. But also if you like to just slow roll your knives opens, because some people do find that extremely satisfying just to kind of slow, and the tension and buildup for the release is very nice, and it helps make it very smooth. And both these knives being on phosphor bronze washers, really excellent action. Like, they're so well tuned. I really like these a lot. If you don't like the paramilitary lineup, I would say if you have a chance to handle at any local dealer or local shop, check these out. I know the Shaman's a little expensive, and I know the YoJimbo 2 is a little bit more expensive than some of the cheaper paramilitary 3s, but I think that they're really well done, and I kind of understand why they're a little bit more pricey. And again, it's a made in the USA knife. I still think for what you pay and what you get and how Spyderco warranties their product, that you get a really good value in return. All right, so number 7. The number 7 carried knife is going to be the knife that I picked for 2021 carry of the year, and that is going to be the MKM Gaia. The Gaia has an M390 blade, and my version does have the titanium handles, but you can get this knife for under $200 with micarta handles, which look really good. And it does still have the M390 with the titanium back spacer. It does give you a nice deep carry titanium pocket clip that's anodized, looks really good. And it does have the titanium pivot and pivot collar. I really like this one a lot still. This is a really good EDC knife. I feel like it can handle a lot of what you're going to throw at it. It slices surprisingly well for such a thick backstock. Like, this is really thick, and I honestly, when I got it, was kind of worried about that, but it does have a really thin edge, and the finish allows this to actually kind of slice through things. It gives you just enough belly to do some of your push cuts, and then the way that they drop point the tip, it does make it nice when you're trying to get into some packages, or if you're trying to cut something precise like a label or something like that. Really nice. I did throw the skiff bearings on here, and I do notice that it is a little bit smoother. I just like the fact that it went from those hollow caged ceramic bearings to the phosphor bronze pivot. I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see it looks like that penny color. So I do like that a lot. I think that it's not a necessary upgrade for this knife, but it gives me a little bit of peace of mind, and I just like the fact that it has them kind of integrated into the solid washer. Ergonomics on this are really, really good. The liner lock, the inset liner lock, has really broken in nicely, and I really have grown to appreciate the fact that they threw that jimping on there, because this is one where you kind of have to like push a little bit to get it, but it's not as bad as, say, like the Fair and Forged Stinger that I did a review on. I don't know if it'll be up before or after this, but that one had horrible access to the liner lock because it was so skinny, whereas this one, being a little bit more of a full-size knife, it does have a lot more access to get that finger in there. but it does, you do feel it a little bit when you go to slide it over, and it could just be mine, so I don't know. So that is my number 7 carry from January 2022. These are a little close. So hopefully I've left enough room. I have found that I've really misjudged these poorly as I do them as far as leaving space, and I'm kind of looking at what I have left, and it could be kind of close. Anyway, so number 6 is going to be a knife that I really like and that a lot of people probably aren't going to like because it only has the one deployment method, which is kind of boring in most cases, but if you're not a fan of this deployment method, it might be a little bit of a turnoff. So number 6 is going to be my QSP Gannet. The Gannet has a 154 cm blade steel. I really like the shape of this blade. I really think it's a nice looking shape, and it looks like they maybe did a machine or a hand rub cross finish on it because the lines are going side to side. Sorry, it's a little cold out here, and that my warm hands and the cold steel are going to equate to a little bit of sweat. But hopefully that comes through in the video. Also, the micarta into the raindrop carbon fiber, it's seamless. You can feel the transition because of the change in the material, but you cannot feel the lines. They did a fantastic job with that, and I really just love the way that this micarta feels. It's a little bit nicer than the one that's on the QSP. It feels like snakeskin. And then this finish on the carbon fiber is very tactile. So it does provide really good grip. And then because of the shape, like a little bit of contouring, a little bit of a hilt on the butt and the finger guard, it really does lock into the hands. It feels so comfortable. QSP does a really good job with their 154 cm. I have it on my titanium penguin and I have it on this one, and it slices and cuts really, really good. Again, using this mostly to open packages and letters and envelopes, but I have used this quite a few times to break down boxes. It's super slicey and comfortable, and it cleans up really, really well. I do like to sit down on Sunday while I'm waiting for videos to render and stuff, and I like to do my knife maintenance. I like them to keep up and look nice, but some of these, like if you look at the finish on the YoJimbo, no matter how hard I clean them, you can still see a little bit of the burn marks from where I cut it. But seriously, as many boxes as I've broken down and zip ties and things of that nature that I've used this YoJimbo on, because I do find I grab that a lot for those type of tasks because it's so comfortable. That finish, that coating, Spyderco does a really good job. But again, this is front flipper. It is on ceramic bearings. It has really good action. It has that jimping that I like a lot. You can see it wraps all the way around. Ceramic bearings are inside the pivot. It does have really nice access to the liner lock, really good jimping, so it is very easy to use. And again, really great action. Not reversible deep carry pocket clips, so sorry lefties. And I will say that the pocket clip style itself doesn't offend me. What I don't like is the fact that it, they polished it, which I think from a presentation standpoint looks okay. But if you look at the finish at, say, like the pivot collar, where they just kind of machined it just a little bit, I think that would have actually looked a little bit better, because this kind of looks budget, and it works really good, but it just kind of looks budget, I think. Anyway, cogent is, the Gannet is my number 6 carry knife for January 2022. The number 5 top carried knife for January 2022 is going to be my CIVIVI Mini Asta. I do have the one with the Damascus and wood handles because I just like the way that really looks. This is a hollow grind with a swedge. It has ceramic bearings in the pivot, so it has excellent action. This is what I call like a medium knife, a small to medium sized knife, because it is right at the minimum size that fits in my hand, which is pretty good though, because I do have a larger size hand. But it is really, really comfortable. This thing slices really well. I'm really impressed with the 9CR Damascus from CIVIVI. It does really good with cutting and slicing. I've not had to sharpen it. Again, this one here is only broken down 1 or 2 boxes because I just wanted to see how it would do, but I didn't want to take the chance of, messing up the Damascus too much. But it actually is held up really well, and it cleans up really well. I'm just using like a soap and water, and then if I get any kind of like stickers from breaking the boxes down, I have like an adhesive remover that I just use around the tip to kind of clean that off to keep it looking good. Access to the liner lock is okay. It does have the jimping to help it, and it is a little bit thinner and tighter in there, so it is a little bit of a hot spot when you go to undo it. It's slightly uncomfortable, but not too bad. You can get these with their 10CR blade steel, which also performs really well, and it does have some G10 with some different color options for that one. So the mini Asta Kiss is number 5. My number 4 is going to be a knife that I picked up recently that I am carrying to try to get ready for the review, but also because I really do like this knife a lot, and that's going to be my Benchmade Mini Adamas. This one here does have the OD drab green handles and the Cerakoted crew wear blade. I really like this knife a lot. It has really surprised me, and I'm so glad that I went with the mini and not the full size, because I do like to carry my knives a lot in pocket with a little bit with some companion carry and organizers and other things in the pocket as part of my EDC. It is specific, or it has like a direct handle position because you're in between the hilt and the guard up front, and you do have a little bit of room to kind of move around, but not a lot. That's probably one of the cons. The speed holes, I like the look of them, but from a function standpoint, I kind of wish that they weren't there, because I feel like my fingers kind of catch on them depending on what position I have my hand in. I also have noticed that the access lock on the phosphor bronze washers works really good on metal surfaces versus the plastics and G10s. Really smooth. I did not have to do anything to dial this in. It still has zero play in the blade, which really impresses me, and I'm really consistent using this one and my Bugout since I got the titanium scales from Flatanium. Same thing, just a lot more solid and a lot more predictable and reliable from an operating perspective. I really do like the fact that this is contoured. Now, this is kind of a tank in the pocket, so you are going to notice the thickness a little bit, but I do really like that, because when I'm using this to break down boxes on the weekend, or if I'm trying to do anything where I'm breaking down some stuff that I might have zip tied together, or if I'm using it for any type of like rope string deals or anything like that, working on the cars, doing stuff with the mountain bikes, I do like that because it is really thin right behind the edge, and that crew wear is really impressive, but this does have a thicker geometry. So anything that you're trying to do with precision, it might have a little bit of drag behind it. All right, so that was the number 4. I'm really running out of room here. And number 3 knife that I carried for January 2022 is going to be my Spyderco Smok. The Smok is the Blade HQ exclusive version. It does have the coated M4 steel. And again, that JG10 against that coated blade looks really good in my opinion. I know some folks don't really like the jade, but I really do. I did go ahead and upgrade to skiff bearings. I barely noticed a difference on this one, but the standard bearings that came on the Smok had stainless steel bearings, so I do like the ceramic a little bit better, and it still operates very smoothly, so I didn't lose anything. This one here is a flipper tab, which is unusual from Spyderco, but it works really well. It does have the spider hole, which works fine for the thumb and the reverse flick, and it has really good action considering that it has like this push button compression lock. You see it moving there? Oh, I'm moving both hands. Let me try to help myself here. You see it right here? So it moves that lock off of the back, so it does still work like the compression lock, but it has that button lock feature. This one here is a little bit different because that finger guard, that finger choil in the middle is really meant for the middle finger, and then you have this other spot for your hand here, which is more natural. Does have a little bit of a choke up spot, but it really is a first knuckle choke up. If you try to put that other knuckle in there, you're going to get really close to that edge. I can feel it just touching. I don't even want to put my finger all the way in there. M4 and the edges on Spyderco's are fantastic, and they perform really well. So that is number 3. The number 2 knife for January 2022, and I will admit that the scales really have motivated me to increase the pocket time on this one, is going to be my channel comparison knife, the Benchmade Bugout. This one here does have the standard S30V blade steel. This is a special knife to me because my wife helped me acquire this as a gift from her, and I did pick up the Flytanium scales, and I did do the anodized video, which I hope helped you guys. I know I was a little close with the tripod to the stuff in there, but hopefully you got the gist, and maybe it encouraged some of you to do that. I will say Knife Miters did a fantastic, in-depth, thorough video to show you what anodizing will look like on a bead blast versus a glass blast versus a polished versus an unpolished finish. And it does really change the dynamic of how the anodization looks because it changes the reflectivity. So check that video out. That is a really good video. I am really enjoying their series. I know they're only like 3 in as of the making of this video, but I'm really enjoying it. The Flytanium crossfade scales are really nice because they put just a touch of contouring. And with these scales and the blade and everything, it's 2.8 ounces. So still underneath that 3-ounce featherweight weight for this being on here. I really don't notice it. It's still really super light in the pocket. I like the cutouts because it really does let me know that my fingers are in a good spot if I'm not looking at the knife to close the blade or retire the blade to the closed position. I do like the up here. I like having this contouring here because if you're moving up and you're putting your thumb on it for push cuts, or if you're trying to do precision cuts and you want to put your fingers here to hold the blade, the tactileness of the milling is really nice here. It adds solid grip. Makes me kind of wish there was a little tiny jimping out on front for those precision cuts. Again, I don't know what it is about the Axis lock system and the phosphor bronze washers, but again, on the metal, even though it had the steel liners in there and they're recessed, it really does lock it up and it keeps that action really, really smooth. Really impressed with that. That was number 2. Woo, gosh, that's a long list. This is a long video. Hopefully when I do some editing, this video will have shortened up. Number 1 probably is not going to surprise anyone. There was a couple of things that I knew were going to push this into the number 1 position. One, I was still doing long-term review, so I wanted to get plenty of handle time. 2, I did a lot of modifications to this knife to totally transform it, and it has quickly become one of my favorite knives in my inventory, and that's going to be the Demco AD20.5. This one does have the Austin A blade steel, and I know a lot of people are not a fan of that. I have used it to break down some boxes and open some packages, and it seems like it's performing fine. I don't have any issues with it. I really like the ergonomics. This is thin like the Bugout, like thin profile, so it's really thin in pocket and has really comfortable ergonomics. The carbonized scales here are the purple haze fat carbon, and I did go ahead and get the matching backspacer because I had like the orange from Knife Joy, so it would have looked really weird with all that and then the orange backspacer. I did get the faded anodized Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip, and I have since also installed a set of Skiff Rocket Glide bearings. Really like the way that fits, and I like the ceramic bearings over the stainless steel bearings. Really, really smooth. I really do like that a lot. Let's see. Can you see the reflection of the brass? Anyway, check out the video on that install. I didn't do a step-by-step because it's not really hard to install them in my opinion, but I did go ahead and get the lanyard hole delete on mine, which I really think makes this knife look so good. So that was my number 1 carry. Let me know what you guys think you carried the most, or what you like carrying the most, or what your favorite knife to carry is in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, leave me a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along as I try to grow the channel. I am going to do a mid-milestone giveaway. I think I'm going to do it at around 800 subscribers. So if I get 800, I am going to do a smaller giveaway. But when I get to the 1,000 subscriber mark, because I do have that goal and that ambition to get there, and I'm trying to diversify my content and how I'm presenting, and I'm always trying to refine myself with my video editing. So hopefully you guys are getting some entertainment value as I do these reviews or talk about what's in my pocket the most or do my pocket checks every day. Hopefully you're enjoying that. I see some interaction and I see a fair amount of response for likes for that stuff. So hopefully, again, I can continue to hit the mark on that type of stuff and the things that you like. again, subscribe if you enjoy, totally up to you. I do leave links down in the descriptions for this stuff. Now, if it's stuff like the Demco, which is kind of in and out, or the MKM, which is kind of in and out, and definitely the Shaman, they're hard to get, but just check your favorite retailer and subscribe for notifications. That's what I did. I sign up for notifications on 2 or 3 of my favorite vendors, and when I get the alerts, I just go out there, and I've been able to get them with no problems. So good luck to you if you're trying to chase something down. And thanks. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. And until next time, peace.